now. Okay, good day, students. Today is our 12th lesson. Okay, if you remember, initially I promised you 12 free lessons, and today is the 12th day. And the good news is I would continue to teach. Okay, I have another 4 lessons prepared for you already, and I will continue to teach for free. So today our focus would be on samples of guided writing. Okay, last week on lesson 11, we discussed the details of extended writing, the technicality of extended writing. Okay, so that is what we discussed on extended writing. Today we would be looking into samples and examples of guided writing. So I'll provide to you 4 samples. Okay, so I would need volunteers to read. All right. When I call your names, kindly read. All right. Guided writing. We have gone through the details of guided writing and everything. Okay, so today our focus is only on the samples. Okay, and I managed to find a presentation template just to placate that particular need. Okay, now let's look at sample 1. We have 4 samples. This is the sample, and this is the sample essay. This is the sample question and sample essay. Now I would read the sample question, and then we'll move on to read the sample essay. Your class has been discussing about studying abroad. Your teacher has tasked you to write the outcome of the discussion on the advantages and disadvantages of studying abroad. In your essay, you should write about the advantages of studying abroad, the disadvantages of studying abroad, your personal opinion on the matter. Write your essay using all the notes given and giving reasons for your opinion. This is how the question for guided writing be. This is how it would be. Okay, this is how a question on guided writing would look like. Okay, now can I have a volunteer to read the essay? But before reading, let's look at the question. The requirement of the question is the advantages of studying abroad, the disadvantages of studying abroad, your personal opinion. So you've got to answer that, because remember, we have discussed this essay initially. For this particular essay, you need to have a balance between your personal opinion and the outcome of a discussion, which is also at the end of the day your personal opinion, because it is something that you conceive in your mind, an outcome of a discussion that you have conceived in your mind. Okay, so now let's look at sample 1. The sample answer. Can someone read to me? Jiroshan, are you there? Jiroshan, can you read to me the sample answer?
Yes, teacher. To many of us out there, studying abroad is a dream come true. Not in any way undermining the standard of education locally, but studying abroad has many benefits of its own. Firstly, we will be able to get a lot of experience which are entirely new and very crucial. At times, the experience we gain could bring about some permanent changes to the way we see life. Besides, we can also learn about new culture, tradition, as well as honing our survival skills. On the negative side, we could gain an uncontrolled freedom to manage our lives on our own. This freedom can prove to be risky as we can abuse the freedom. Moreover, there are also instances where we will be misled or misguided into some parts of life which will not be relevant to us. Hence, as much as we celebrate the opportunity of studying abroad, we should also be mindful to be thankful for it, as well as never to abuse it.
Okay, now, thank you very much, Jiroshan. Now, if you look at this sample answer, Here, we are looking into the advantages, and the advantages stretches into paragraph 2 as well. And then we move on to the negative side, which talks about the disadvantage. And your personal opinion is here at the end. As much as you celebrate the opportunity, you should be mindful to be thankful of it and never to abuse it. So that is your personal opinion. So remember, for this particular task, the word limit is 125 to 150 words. That is the limitation. Okay, now the question is, can it go beyond that? By all means, it can. But however, if you look at the example that I've given, I managed to keep it within that, within the limitation. Why? To prove to you that it is possible to write efficiently within the word limit stipulated. Okay, all right. Now, let's move on to sample 2. Your class has been discussing about the benefits of learning an additional language. Your teacher has tasked you to write an essay on the topic. In your essay, you should write about the advantages of learning an additional language, the challenges in learning an additional language, your personal choice of the additional language that you would like to learn. Write your essay using all the notes given and giving reasons for your opinion. Now here, the focus, the requirement of the question is advantages of learning an additional language, challenges in learning additional language, personal choice of the particular additional language that you would like to learn. And of course, you can add that, why would you choose that? Okay. Why would you choose that particular language? You can add your reason or justification towards your choice. Okay. Now, can a volunteer read the sample answer?
I'll go, sir.
All right.
Learning an additional language is always an advantage. Firstly, we would master a language which would help us communicate to those who has it as their first language. Besides, we could also learn the culture of particular people and everything else related to the language. However, there are many challenges in learning an additional language. Firstly, we need to have the time to allocate to learn the language. Secondly, we must have the determination to master the language as we need to spend a lot of time practicing it. In my opinion, it is always a great advantage to learn an additional language. Hence, we should grab the opportunity to learn it. Given a choice, I will want to learn the ancient Hebrew language as the language has many symbols which I love to explore.
Okay. Now, if you see here, for the advantages, there's the first one here, help us to communicate to those who has it as their first language. Second, learn the culture of a particular people and everything else related to the language. Okay. Now, challenges, we need to have the time. Then we need to have the determination. Okay. So, and the choice that the person made or the candidate made is ancient Hebrew language. The reason, it has many symbols which the person would or the candidate would love to explore. So there is sample 2. Okay. Now, all these sample essays that I'm going to show you are within the word limit. Okay. Sample 3. Your class has been discussing on their tuition classes. Your teacher has asked you to write an essay on the importance of tuition classes. In your essay, you should write about the advantages of tuition classes, the disadvantages of tuition classes, your personal opinion on going for tuition. Write your essay using all the notes given and giving reasons for your opinion. See, so the focus here is advantages of tuition classes. That is the first requirement. Disadvantages of tuition classes, second requirement. And then lastly, your personal opinion. All right. Now, can we have a volunteer, please, to read the sample essay?
Sir, can I read? Sir, can I read?
Sir?
My goodness, the background is very noisy.
Sir,
The one with the noisy background shouldn't be reading. Okay, yes, go ahead.
tuition classes came into existence to assist and help the students to better their understanding in studies. As such, tuition serve a great assistance to aid the understanding of the students toward the subject that they seek assistance. Besides, tuition also link the expert to those who will need their expertise for a symbiotic exchange of benefits. There are also disadvantages of tuition classes. Firstly, students become very dependent on their tutors. They will focus on their tutors more than their own hard work. Furthermore, they will also compare the teachers at school to the ones that they go for at their tuition classes. I will personally encourage students to go for tuition, especially when there is a need for it. However, the students will have to be constantly reminded to be independent and resourceful, albeit attending tuition classes.
Okay, so here, if you were to look at this one, the advantages would be great assistance, link the experts to those who would need the expertise, whereas the disadvantages would be very tutor dependent. Students become tutor dependent, okay? And then they would start to compare the school teachers to their tuition teachers. That comparison is another bit. Okay, so these are two disadvantages. So personal opinion, I would personally encourage students to go for tuition, especially when there is a need for it. However, the students will have to be constantly reminded to be independent and resourceful, albeit attending tuition classes. So this is your personal, the candidates or the students' personal take or personal opinion on going for tuition, that in spite of going for tuition, you will have to be constantly independent and resourceful. So here, this one is the personal opinion. All right, sample 4. Your class has been discussing about bringing handphones to school. Your teacher has asked you to write an essay on bringing handphones to school. In your essay, you should write about the advantages of bringing handphones to school, the disadvantages of bringing handphones to school, your personal take on the matter. Give your essay, write your essay using all the notes given and giving reasons for your opinion. So if you would have seen the style and the manner of the questions, they're all more or less the same. This is typical guided writing questions. Okay, now the 4th sample. Can we have a volunteer to read? Anyone?
I'll go. Should I go? Alright, I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay. Handphones have brought about much changes in the recent decade. There has been a constant debate as to how useful handphones are for students. There are many advantages of bringing handphones to school. Firstly, the students can call their parents in any case of emergency. Besides, they can use them as a reference to find anything out online. However, there are also disadvantages. Students might misuse their handphones to surf the internet for unnecessary searches. Besides, they might also use the handphone to perform criminal activities such as making illegal videos, recording unnecessary clips, and other activities which can result in severe implication. In my personal opinion, although I would not deny the advantages, I will not condone the idea of bringing handphones to school as I feel that the disadvantages outweigh the advantages.
All right, okay. So if you were to look at this, the advantages would be they can call their parents in cases of emergency, and they can use the handphones as a source of reference to find anything online. Okay. the hindsight or the negative side, the disadvantage would be students might misuse the handphone to surf the internet for unnecessary searches. Besides, they can perform criminal activities or of making illegal videos and whatever not. Okay, so these are the disadvantages. And so my personal take on the matter, this candidate's personal take on the matter is, as much as he wouldn't deny the advantages, he would not condone or he would not support the idea of bringing handphones to school because the disadvantages are more than the advantages. So that way, this person or this candidate suggests that bringing handphones to school should not be condoned. Okay, now we have seen 4 samples and I've prepared 4 samples for you. We'll discuss these samples. As of yet, should you have any questions, please keep those questions in mind and we will discuss these questions. All right, now you may ask your questions now.